What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Top 5 on this glorious Top 5 Friday, and I could not be more excited than to be talking to you about one of the best years in music history, 1969, and my top 5 favorite albums of that year. Let's get right into it. At number 5... Led Zeppelin 2 by Led Zeppelin. You gotta have this on your list. I mean, from the opening track, Whole Lotta Love, one of the best rock songs of all time, all the way through to Bring It On Home. And to just think that they released 2 albums in 1 year. I mean, you don't hear that very often anymore. Usually it's the opposite, like 1 album every 2 years for most artists. But man, the late 60s, it was just non-stop, and Led Zeppelin were just one of the best, and this is one of their best. That's at my number 5. Now folks, at number 4, Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. I mean, come on. Gimme Shelter. You can't always get what you want. The title track, my personal favorite, Monkey Man. This thing is chock loaded with some of their best stuff, and I think it was really them at their peak. I mean, of course, they would continue that run with albums like Exile on Main Street and Sticky Fingers in the early 70s, but as far as the 60s goes, this is the best. And I would argue maybe their best of all time. So that's at my number 4. Now at number 3, Tommy by The Who, one of the first concept albums of all time and probably the first rock opera of all time. Actually, they kind of did it themselves on a smaller scale a few years earlier with A Quick One While She's Away. But this, it's just so huge in scope. Not just this really cool story about a deaf, dumb, and blind kid who starts his own cult, but the musicality of this thing is just amazing. From the opening overture, it's so huge, and the instrumentals, I think, are kind of the strongest points. Songs like Sparks, John Entwistle's bass, Keith Moon's drumming on this thing, just unreal. And of course, Pete Townsend, the mastermind behind it all, his guitar playing is just killer. So you gotta have this on your list. The best album by The Who, I think. And we're only at number 3. So now at number 2, Led Zeppelin, the first one from that year. This is just one of the best debut albums of all time. I mean, Good Times, Bad Times, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, Dazed and Confused. Oh my God, I remember the first time I heard that song, it just blew my mind. It was like sometime in 1989, and I thought, this was recorded 20 years ago, and it's more intense than anything that's out right now. And it still holds up as just this, as heavy metal, they were the first band that kind of earned that title, and it still feels very heavy to this day. Just gotta love it. It is one of the best rock albums, bar none, ever. So that's at number 2. Now at number 1, Abbey Road by the Beatles, my favorite band of all time and my favorite album by them. This album is just flawless. From start to finish, it is perfection. Come Together, one of the best Lennon tracks, going into Something by George Harrison, who was at the top of his game. He brought Here Comes the Sun to the table on this record as well. Then you've got McCartney, the mastermind behind side B, all those tracks running into each other from You Never Give Me Your Money all the way to the end. Even Ringo with Octopus's Garden. As silly as that song is, you want to sing along to it, just like Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Then you've got Oh Darling with McCartney shredding his vocals, Lennon shredding his vocals on I Want You, She's So Heavy. Just everything about this album, I love it. It is magical. It is wonderful. They went out on top. This was the last album they recorded. Of course, Let It Be came out a year later, but it was recorded a year earlier. Do the math. But Abbey Road, Just the best. So that's my top 5, guys. I'd love to know what you think. Leave in the comments below your top 5 or even a top 10. I mean, there's so many great albums in this year that I didn't even mention, like King Crimson and Santana, but these I think are the cream of the crop. So let me know what you think. Stay tuned next week for more top 5s and album reviews, so much more. Thank you for watching, and as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out some of my other content that you can see on the screen now. Thank you again for supporting Johnny Radio. Take care, and I'll see you soon.